Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me again on another episode of Gaffer and Gear. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at the 10-degree lens that is made to work with the Forza FM mount projection attachment. All right, let's start off the episode with the usual disclaimers. Nanlite are not paying me any money for this episode, but they did send me the product for free and I do get to keep it. So technically that is a paid endorsement. All right, let's go through cost and what you get. So this sells for $340 and I've seen it advertised for a consistent 634 Australian dollars. Now it doesn't come as a kit with a projector as far as I can tell. It is just sold as a lens barrel. All right, so you get a bag, you get the lens barrel of course, and the lens barrel has on the front your accessory holder, and in the accessory holder is a gel holder. All right, so this is made of the same material as the other lenses. Now also in the bag, you get a locking handle because the locking handle that is on the regular projection mount will not take the weight. Okay, let's go through use case scenarios for a 10-degree parabolic lens like this, because when I was a younger gaffer, I had this big misperception that narrow beam parabolics would be fantastic for doing fine precision work on something like product shots, but they're actually no good for that at all. If you want to do fine precision work, then you need a projection mount that's more designed like camera optics and less designed like a parabolic. So just to give you an example here, at a distance of 1 meter, I can't even get this thing into focus. So the idea behind a narrow beam parabolic like this is to maximize all the light into a tight beam to get you a very long throw on your light. Now in this scenario, I'm throwing the light a distance of about 9 meters. And as you can see, it's giving a very usable light level. Now I do want to point out it is an overcast day here in Melbourne, not a sunny day, but it's definitely delivering the goods. Now here you can see the gobo projection isn't perfect, but it would be acceptable as a background element. Where this would also be handy is for long throws, like sunlight down a corridor. And the extra distance between the light and the subject means that the subject can move around without the exposure noticeably changing. Here I'm using the projector into a 25 centimeter reflector. And to make it more obvious what it's doing, let's change the colour. You could also use a narrow beam to pick out elements in your set design. Now I'm lighting up Buddha on my wife's shrine from 5 meters away with the light set to 7% brightness. Now the concentrated beam is bright enough that you could possibly use it to give controlled splashes of afternoon sunlight. All right, so let's have a look at the testing and we'll start off at 3 meters. Now just to emphasize again that tight beam parabolics like this are not designed to work at a close range like 3 meters. So we're also going to open up the garage door and have a look at how it performs with some long throws as well. Let's start off by having a look at how even the beam is as we go through our CCT range. And there is definitely some drop off towards the edge of the beam. Now at a distance of 3 meters, gobo projections are not the greatest. And I'm going to use my hand here to give you some idea of the scale that we're working to. The results seem to be the same regardless of CCT or colour dialed in. Now let's have a look at how well it focuses and defocuses. Now the results seem to be the same regardless of the type of gobo pattern you project. The defocusing range is quite good. However, at a distance of 3 meters, the gobos and the blades don't work all that well together. Now let's be fair and see how this thing projects at a distance of 12 meters. And as you can see, the projections are way better. As you can see on a long throw, you can use gobos and the blades without any of the ghosting issues. And here you can see the drop off from the center to the edge of the beam. And for giggles, let's have a play with the optional iris. Now let's take a look at some spectrometer readings and see how the light is changing going through the projection mount. So I'm going to start off with 3200 Kelvin and then set the light to 5600 Kelvin. When I dialed in 3200 Kelvin, I got 3084 with an SSI score of 82. The TM30 colour testing results were 95% average colour accuracy with an average 102% colour saturation. With the CRI scores, only R12 was below 90. This is the spectrum distribution, and the white point came in with a delta UV of minus 0.0013, which would make the light at this point slightly magenta to roughly half of a 1/8 correction gel equivalent. When I dialed in 5600 Kelvin, I got 5514 with an SSI of 73. The TM30 colour testing results were 94% average colour accuracy with an average 102% colour saturation. With the CRI scores, only R12 was below 90. This is the spectrum distribution, and the white point came in with a delta UV of minus 0.0007. So if you're working to the Planckian curve, this is very close to perfect. But if you're working to the daylight curve, then this light has a slight magenta hue to roughly the equivalent of a 1/8 correction gel. Okay, so just my closing thoughts. I'll definitely be keeping a hold of this lens. I don't know if I'm going to buy a second one though, so I'll see how it goes. My gut feeling is if I had cinematographers that used the light bridge system more often, I would probably buy 3 of these, because in a small room like a bedroom or something like that where you want to bounce light, this is a nice small setup. It's not taking up a heap of space like some of the other projectors do. Anyway, that's my thoughts. See you on the next episode of Gaffer and Gear. Take care.